Remember, Adam was there. Remember, Adam came there, then Eve came. So somebody had to start it out. So that means it had to be a God. Because it didn't just some bomb blew up and it started out.
So that is Herschel Walker, candidate for US Senate in Georgia, backed by Trump, as we'll get into, has a very good chance of winning. Talking more theology there than government or politics, but he had even more to say about evolution in this clip.
And I'll tell you something else I heard. Now think about this, because at one time, science said man came from apes. Did it not? That's when you go to the science.
Every time I read or hear that, I think to myself, you just didn't read the same Bible I did.
Well, this was interesting though. If that is true, why are there still apes? Think about it.
You know, now you're getting too smart for it.
No. Think about this. We have an evolution that is, we've gotten so intelligent that if that is true, why are there still apes? And then the conception of a baby. Let me tell you, science can't do that. They still trying to do it, but it can't, because there had to be a God.
There are a lot of problems with every part of that. I do want to be clear though, if any of those claims struck you as something that would blow your mind, something that would change the way that you view the world, I want to be very clear. Every single claim that was made by Herschel Walker has been made ad nauseum. It didn't make sense the first time people postulated it. It doesn't make any more sense right now. To be clear though, there are a lot of people that do find that sort of stuff convincing, and there are a lot of people who have the same sorts of beliefs as Herschel Walker about evolution and conception and all of that. So Rashad, how do we respond to that when someone who wants to run for office, you just cover up and hide, you don't want to respond?
So, John, I cannot tell you, brother, on how many levels I'm embarrassed, okay? Herschel Walker makes me embarrassed to tell people I'm a Christian man. But I'm a Christian who knows God gave me a brain before he gave me a book, and I use it. Passages in the scripture that say things like, slave, obey your master. That's in the Bible. I can't get down with things like that, but I'm glad I got a brain before I got a book. So let's look at what Herschel Walker has said here. This is not the first idiotic statement he has made on the campaign trail. I assume he's somehow trying to connect Darwin's theory to apes and humans, which, by the way, Darwin never said humans came from chimpanzees or apes, never did. That was a narrative adopted by Christian evangelicals to scare individuals into a theocratic or theological core as far as their history is concerned in evolution. They continue to do this with Herschel. They keep giving him platforms. They're not helping him whatsoever. Just a few weeks ago, he was saying that Congressman John Lewis, who's dead, all right, a civil rights hero, he was calling him Senator John Lewis and saying that Congressman John Lewis was against the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. He literally said that during the show, and they agreed with him. They got to stop this foolishness. As I said before, me as a black male, Herschel Walker as a black male, some black person has to do an intervention with this clown immediately.
See, that is a person wielding that weapon. You know, Cain killed Abel. And that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. You know, he talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women, that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it by putting money into the mental health field, by putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
Okay, I'm going to quote Dr. Rashad Richey. Well, he's a dumbass. The idea that the solution is that we need to look into boys who are looking at girls who are looking at social media, and then what? And then based on their creepy behavior, bar them from buying guns? Hell, that might actually work. I mean, he might actually be onto something, because We all know that creepy stalking behavior, domestic abuse, misogyny is actually a pretty strong predictor of a lot of sorts of violent crime. That might actually be something. Would he want them to be barred from getting the guns? Well, right now he has no idea about literally anything, but soon the Republicans will tell him we don't support red flag laws, and Herschel Walker, that'll be out the door for him. So what? We're just watching their social media activity. What is the actual answer? What would you have done to have stopped this violent criminal from getting legal access to a weapon this deadly? And he's got absolutely nothing. That was as much as he was able to string together there.
I am fascinated that you were, and impressed that you were able to understand what his argument even was.
I hope maybe that's what it was.
It was nothing. Herschel Walker is so stupid. And that's literally how I have to refer to him. Because otherwise, what's happening is the right wing is taking a certifiably mentally incapacitated CTE victim and using him as a meat puppet to fill a seat and turn it red, because it seems like the South elects football coaches and stars to Senate seats. Tommy Tuberville, Herschel Walker. Like, Herschel Walker cannot function as a human being. Someone's got to say it. Like, as much as they're saying like Joe Biden can't put a sentence together, he can.
Yeah,
he can. It's slow. I'd rather it was faster. But Herschel Walker is a dumb person. Like, he is stupid. He doesn't know anything about anything. I haven't seen him put together a sentence, much less a paragraph, ever.
He's supposed to be responsible for theoretically, if the executive branch ever cared what the legislature thought about like questions of going to war, about our national health care policy, a response to a pandemic. He can't. Would you trust him to make his own lunch? Honestly, at this point.
Hey, Raju with CNN. I know. Do you support any new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
Do what now?
Do you support new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
What I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. I like to see it and everything.
A favorite New Jersey? Thank you.
That's Herschel Walker. He won his primary. It wasn't close. He got 70% of the vote as of this morning, and he did so without debating his opponents and not, answering any of the many questions people have about his fitness to be a senator. And that video only seemed to confirm it. What he wants to do is see it and something or whatever, and then he walks away from Raju right there. Everybody is wondering what he would do as a senator to protect the children of Georgia, and his response is he wants to see it and something. Rashad. That did not make me feel better.
He's a dumbass. And what he's really saying is he wants to be told what to say. And because no one has told him what to say, he has no comment, he has no opinion. Nobody has guided him on the talking point. Now, yes, he has low intellectual capacity. I feel completely comfortable saying that because I met the guy. Number two, there's a reason he slaughtered the field in the Republican primary for US Senate in Georgia last night. And it's not just because Trump endorses him. Remember, the other Trump endorsed candidate in Georgia lost by a massive amount. So why did Herschel Walker win his election when other Trump endorsed candidates lost in Georgia and other southern states? It's because Herschel Walker is the most controllable person in the GOP fighting for an opportunity to become their surrogate. He has zero backbone. He lacks integrity. Even in his own book, he admitted that he has had issues with his own integrity. Now, according to him, Jesus has delivered him from all of his lies. But just recently, John, the man was out for lying about even graduating from college. He said he graduated top of his class. He took away glory from somebody because somebody actually did graduate that year and graduated top of their class. And guess what? He's so beloved from that college community. Nobody called him out on it until we started to research. Wait a minute. He's not in a yearbook. We can't find his degree. It took years before anyone ever called him out on it. So now he's been called out on the lies about his businesses, about his education. And remember, who lies about their education when they are one of the most respected sportsmen in the United States and really in the world? I mean, Herschel Walker is legendary in the sports arena. Why lie about your academics? Why lie about your education? Because he wants to fit in somewhere, brother. He wants to desperately fit in to a culture that he probably thinks if he can connect to this culture of white elitism, of white academics, of the political class of the GOP and their elitism, if he could connect and he can become one of them, then he has arrived. He's the most dangerous person to ever put in political office because he's not there for people. He's there to validate himself, and he will do whatever they tell him to do in order to keep that validation going.